It seems like everybody and their mother wants to learn how to hit high notes. And honestly, as an alto myself, I can totally relate. I could not hit high notes at all, no matter how hard I tried. I just couldn't do it, at least not consistently. But now that I have grown a lot over the years, I can. I can even sing soprano high. But if we're being honest, high notes are kind of overrated. They can sometimes even get a little bit annoying to listen to if that's all you're doing. But of course, you want to have the option to sing high, and I want you to have that option too. Welcome to part 3 of my voice lesson mini-series, where I'm helping singers overcome the most common vocal challenges, one of them being hitting high notes without cracking. In case you don't know me yet, hi, I'm Lara. I'm an award-winning singer and songwriter turned viral vocal coach. And yes, I once cracked so hard on stage in middle school in front of the entire school, thank you very much, that I then asked my mom every single morning if I really had to go to school that day because I was so embarrassed. And now I help singers avoid that fate so that they can sing freely and confidently and hit these high notes with confidence instead of with fear. If you haven't seen parts 1 and 2 yet, I definitely recommend that you check those out because everything in singing is connected. If one thing is off, no matter how hard you try, it's just not gonna happen. So please be sure to check out part 1 and 2. They're both linked in the description below. All right, let's talk about those high notes and what exactly is causing that crack. Just to show you what's possible in a short amount of time, I'm literally talking in just a couple of minutes here. Here's a quick coaching clip for you. Danny came to me because she was cracking on high notes and losing the power up there. And so we workshop a couple different things together, including something that we looked on in part 1 of this mini series. So again, you can see everything is connected and it's all coming together now. And literally within 5 minutes, the crack was gone and she was able to hit those high notes with a ton more power. Let's have a look.
Try to lock me in this cage. I won't just let it out. Yeah, that's the place. That's the place.
Okay. All right, we're going to do an exercise to help you get up there. We're going to do a CC. Yeah, that was amazing. Do me a favor, take your hands and hold down your neck muscles right here.
Wow,
Okay.
that's much more better. What's happening?
You went way higher than the note you have to sing in the song.
I feel much more better at the control.
Now we know that your voice can do this, so you don't need to be afraid of it. There it is. Now let's try it on the lyrics.
I won't just let me down and die. Wow, much better, I feel.
Literally, first try, and you're like, watch me. I got this. Really nice, right? Well, let me show you how you can do the same thing. First, let's make sure that you understand why that crack is even happening in the first place. Cracks happen when you're abruptly switching from chest voice, into your head voice, and there's no transition between. This is because your voice is trying to just hold on to that power until it can't no more, and then it just, let's go. Something like, I'm holding on, I just can't anymore, and then you crack, right? We obviously don't want that to happen. So how do we go around that? Well, we need to find the balance between your chest voice and your head voice. This is often referred to as your mixed voice, a blend between the chest voice and the head voice. Think of it this way. Your chest voice, which is also your speaking voice, is down here, right? That is your source of power. And your head voice, which is up here, hello, it's much higher, it's lighter, and it's brighter, right? That is your source of flexibility. We need both power and flexibility in order to not crack. Now, the problem is that most singers think that in order to sing these high notes with more power and not cracking into a head voice, they need to work on more power, right? Okay, cool. If I need more power up in my high notes, I need to work more on my chest voice because my chest voice is the source of power. Makes sense, right? Well, unfortunately, about 80% of the time, it's not actually a lack of power that's the problem. It's the lack of flexibility ability to get the power that you have in your voice up into these higher notes. So most singers spend all of their time working on chest voice and building power, which is just going to add more strain and tension into their singing and make them feel like they're yelling and screaming rather than belting or singing and mixing. And they're just wasting a lot of time and actually making the problem worse instead of better. So instead of doing yet another belting exercise, let's work on flexibility instead. Let's do one of my favorite flexibility exercises together right now. The cool thing about this exercise is that it won't just help you get flexibility so that you can belt and mix higher up and not crack on these high powerful notes, but it'll actually help you expand your range overall. I was working with this new singer, Caroline. She was in her early 60s. And this exercise alone helped her expand her range by almost an entire octave in just one lesson. It's a pretty darn cool exercise. All right, let's do it together. So it's the shwoo exercise. So it's super, super small and super, super quiet. Again, we're working on flexibility here, meaning we want to eliminate all power and all force completely. So we're going to start somewhere up here. And the exercise goes like this. Shwoo, shwoo. Shwoo. Again, it's not shwoo, shwoo, shwoo. It's shwoo, shwoo, shwoo. My mouth opening is super, 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 super tiny. I'm really quiet. And as we go up, you're going to want to get louder. You're going to want to start opening up your mouth, but I don't want you to. Keep it nice and small. Let's do it together. Shwoo, shwoo, shwoo. 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 Now up here, if it's getting a little difficult to do this exercise, what you can do is exhale first and then do the exercise like this. Not breathe in. Because the sound is so tiny, if we overbreathe, like we were talking about in part 2 of this mini series, then it actually makes it a lot harder to hit these high notes without getting louder. Okay, so it's okay if you exhale first and then hit the notes. And just like that, we're on C6, high C. This is the soprano C, which I'm an alto. I can do this because of this exercise, because it stretches out my voice really nicely. How did it feel for you? Even if it was not possible yet for you to get all the way up here, that's okay. It might take more than 30 seconds to do it. You have to train your voice over time to get that stretch happening. But again, this exercise is so amazing because it truly isolates flexibility and makes sure that you're not just bulldozing over these notes and relying on force to sing higher, which is just not going to be sustainable at all. Okay. So when you're doing this exercise, focus on staying teeny, 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 tiny. If it gets squeaky, that's actually a really good sign. Okay. Just don't start getting louder and pushy. Okay. Let me know in the comments below how this exercise went for you, and keep practicing this every single day over and over and over again. Once you have then developed some of that flexibility, and yes, like I said, it's going to take more than 5 minutes, okay? So be patient. But once you have that flexibility, you can then do what I did together with Danny in that clip, the CC exercise. C, 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 to help you blend the power and the flexibility together. I love the CC exercise because it still gives me that breath flow, like we talked about in part 2, and it stays small on that E sound rather than like a sa-sa, which can get quite yelly quite quickly. So we're keeping it small in a CC sound so that the power is not just taking over, but we can still stay flexible and get the voice up there. So C, 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 And just like that, you're already on E and you sound incredibly powerful. You sound like you're belting, even though you're not. You're actually mixing, which is pretty fantabulous, right? Again, this is going to take more than 5 minutes. But this is how you're going to get here. This is how you're going to be able to hit these high notes with that power, without cracking, with confidence. But yes, it's going to take a little bit of time. But like I said, about 80% of singers need to work on more flexibility in their voice to make this all happen, which is why we did that schwoo exercise, right? That means there's about 20% of singers that actually need to work on the opposite. They have all the flexibility in the world. They're really confident and really comfortable in their head voice, but not so much in their chest voice. So that means they need to work on building up power in their voice instead. So the question is, well, which one are you? Do you need to work on more flexibility or do you need to work on more power? And there's literally no way for me to tell unless I hear you sing something. So if you are not quite sure what you need to do and you want to make sure that you are not wasting a bunch of time practicing the wrong things, because guess what? If you're practicing the wrong things, you're actually going to make this issue worse and not better. And that happened to me a couple years ago, and my voice got so stiff, it was just the worst. And it just got more and more and more and more difficult rather than easier. So I definitely want to make sure that you're not practicing the wrong things for your voice. If you're not sure and you want to know, book a one-on-one session with me. That way I can hear you sing something, workshop a couple things together with you real quick and see how does it affect your voice, which exercises are good for your voice so you can start practicing the right things and not accidentally go down the wrong path, okay? If you want to do this one-on-one session with me, this little intro session, click the link in the description below, pick a day and a time that works best for you, and then I'll send you the Zoom link for our session and we get to sing together. I'm super excited to sing with you. So this technically concludes our little voice lesson mini series here. But there is one more thing that most singers struggle with and never really seem to find a solution for, no matter how much they've been training their voice. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to add a little bonus training to this. So I added a fourth part to this little mini series to talk about what it actually takes to feel confident in yourself and in your voice so that you feel comfortable sharing and performing and just singing in front of others. So if you want to build up your confidence and know what it actually takes, which by the way is not just becoming a better singer, that's not how confidence works. If you want to know what it actually takes to become more confident, click on that next video and I will see you right there.